You're watching BBC News.
Being at the heart of a live news show is challenging. So when events move quickly, you need to make sure you have the facts, and that's where experience counts. And having a global view gives you another perspective. I love the pressure of being live. I feel like we're doing a job that matters.
You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. 8 people have been killed in a shooting at a university in Russia. Many others were injured. Police have detained the attacker, who is believed to be a student. We'll be live in Moscow. Russia's governing party claims an overwhelming victory in the parliamentary election. I'll be speaking to a critic who says there's evidence of fraud. In Rwanda, a court is delivering right now its verdict on Paul Rusesabagina, the former hotel manager who's credited with saving hundreds of people during the genocide. He's been charged with terrorism. And this is the scene live right now in the Canary Islands. A major volcanic eruption is forcing villagers from their homes. Box office TV, it's The Crown that reigns supreme at the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles. In the next half hour, we'll be live in Moscow, Nairobi and La Palma. We start the programme in Russia. There has been a shooting at a university in Perm in the west of the country. We now know that 8 people have been killed. The incident happened at Perm State University in the Urals at 11 o'clock local time. A young man armed with a gun walked onto the campus and started shooting. Let's take you straight to Moscow. Steve Rosenberg is there. Steve, what are we hearing from Perm? Let's take you to Hong Kong now, where a new election committee has been appointed following the first poll under new rules imposed by Beijing. The rules only allowed so-called patriotic candidates to run. Just one opposition-leaning candidate won a place on the powerful election committee. The new body will appoint half the territory's legislature and its next chief executive. The US says it will ramp up deportation flights of thousands of Haitian migrants who flooded into the Texas border city of Del Rio. The first repatriation flights have taken place. Officials say they have moved 2,000 of the 12,000 who crossed from Mexico to detention centres, but there are still several thousand sheltering under a bridge. In the US, teams searching for missing 22-year-old Gabby Petito have found a body they say matches her description in a national park in Wyoming. Ms. Petito has not been seen since her boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, returned home from a cross-country trip without her. He is wanted by police who have named him a person of interest. Officers involved in the discovery said they're awaiting the results of forensic testing. You're live with Lucy Hockings. Stay with us, still to come. America's TV Academy holds its first in-person event since the pandemic. The Emmy Award winners are announced in LA. You're live with Lucy Hockings. We have some breaking news for you now. In the last few minutes, a court in Rwanda has found the former hotel manager who is credited with saving hundreds of people during the 1994 genocide guilty of terror-related crimes. Let's take you back now live to La Palma. Pretty dramatic scenes we're seeing there with the volcano that is still erupting. We've seen a lot of lava, ash, huge columns of smoke as well. And what you can also see, I think, in those pictures there, just a few fires burning very close to a number of houses. We're hearing reports of houses being destroyed. 5,000 people have had to leave their homes. More on that story throughout the day. See you again in a few minutes for the headlines. Bye-bye. The This is BBC World News. The headlines. A gunman has opened fire inside a university in the Russian city of Perm, killing at least 8 people before being stopped by police. Police say they wounded and detained the attacker. Some reports say he was killed. President Putin's party says it's won a 2/3 majority in the Russian parliamentary elections, which the opposition say were rigged. The communists, who largely support Mr. Putin in parliament, came in second. A court in Rwanda has found the former hotel manager who is credited with saving hundreds of people during the 1994 genocide guilty of terror-related crimes. Paul Rusesabagina boycotted the trial. Netflix's royal drama The Crown and Apple TV comedy Ted Lasso have emerged as the big winners at the Emmy Awards. Most nominees attended the ceremony in person for the first time since the pandemic. You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. 8 people have been killed in a shooting at a university in Russia. Many others were injured. Police have detained the attacker. He is believed to be a student. We'll bring you the latest from Moscow. America considers rolling out COVID booster shots for the most vulnerable amid waning vaccine protection and surging hospitalizations. I was speaking live to President Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, as he seeks to turn back increasing infections among the fully vaccinated. A court in Rwanda finds the former hotel manager credited with saving hundreds of people during the 1994 genocide guilty of terror-related crimes. His family say the trial is a sham. Thousands flee a volcanic eruption on the Spanish island of La Palma. A 6-metre-high wall of molten rock is destroying everything in its path. In the next half hour, we'll be live in the US, Canada, Nairobi and La Palma. We start the programme today in Russia. There has been a shooting at a university in the west of the country and at least 8 people are reported to have died. This happened at Perm State University, which is in the Urals. We are also hearing many people, possibly more than 20, have been injured. Stay with us. You're live with Lucy Hockings. Still to come. Take a look at these amazing pictures of the destruction wrought by the volcanic eruption on La Palma. We're going to hear from a local resident who has witnessed it all firsthand. You're live with Lucy Hockings. To Canada now, where it is election day. More than 27 million Canadians heading to the polls for a federal election which is taking place 2 years earlier than scheduled. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau calling this that vote. He wants to capitalise on public approval for his handling of the pandemic. But the latest opinion poll points to an extremely tight race, with Mr Trudeau virtually neck and neck with his Conservative rival Erin O'Toole. But let me quickly remind you as well of one of our top stories. I've been speaking to President Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's told me that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. And he also talked about the booster shots as well that have been quite controversial in the US, saying that he expects that a 3rd booster shot of the Pfizer vaccine will be authorised sometime this week, definitely for high-risk Americans and those over 65 as well. Life on the front line in the ER, very difficult for people in the US right now. I'll be speaking to an ER doctor shortly in Austin in Texas, so stay with us.
The day's most important stories sent every weekday morning direct to your inbox. Subscribe at bbc.com/newsdaily.
You're live with Lucy Hockings on BBC World News. America considers rolling out COVID booster shots for the most vulnerable. Amid rising hospitalisations, President Biden's chief medical advisor told me in the last hour that rules will also become tougher for those who refuse to wear a mask in some situations.
There's a problem of some people traveling don't want to wear masks. Well, now if you don't wear a mask, the fine for that will double.
6 people have been killed in a shooting at a university in Russia. Many others were injured. Police have detained the attacker, who's believed to be a student. A court in Rwanda finds the former hotel manager credited with saving hundreds of people during the '94 genocide, guilty of terror-related crimes. His family say the trial is a sham. And box office TV, it's The Crown that reigns supreme at the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles. In the next half hour, we'll be live in Texas, Moscow, and bring you the latest from Hollywood. Hello and welcome. In the US, the death toll from COVID-19 has surpassed 2,000 for the first time since February. Positive cases are on the rise, and hospitals in states like Alabama and Texas are running out of beds in intensive care units. The latest data from the Lone Star State, for instance, shows that 96% of ICU beds are currently in use. Stay with us, it's still to come on the programme. Box office TV. It's The Crown that reigns supreme at the Emmy Awards in Los Angeles. You're live with Lucy Hockings. Britain's new Foreign Secretary Liz Truss is to call for the release of the dual national Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe and another British-Iranian, Anousheh Ashouri, who is currently serving a 10-year sentence in Tehran. So we'll have more updates from the Palmer for you throughout the day on the volcano, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Lovely to have you with us on the programme. You've been live with Lucy Hockings.
Hello there. It's likely that we'll see several inches of rain from Tropical Storm Peter as it